And welcome back. We're joined by Erin from Red Door Pediatric Therapy in Bismarck.
And today we're talking about all-important sleep and sleep patterns for your children. So good morning, Erin.
Good morning.
When the kids aren't sleeping, nobody's sleeping.
Nobody's sleeping, yes. You're right.
It's a real problem. Okay, so it can start right away when you bring the baby home, right?
Yes, definitely. And a lot of times when we see kids, they're older, and parents will say, you know, this has been a struggle since the very beginning.
And some kids sleep a lot and some don't. I had one that just, you know, we would go to bed and he would still be up when he was like 3 and 4 years old. You know, we finally just put a gate over his door. And he would just play.
Yep, we've heard of that strategy.
Yeah, and he'd fall asleep on the floor because it was otherwise we were up all night. So, so we needed you, and we didn't. So okay, so.
So if whether it's an infant or a toddler or whatever, I would assume that going to bed at 10 one night and then trying to put him down at 6:30 the next night is not the way to go. Consistency, I would think, is a key.
Yes, definitely. Getting that consistent schedule, knowing how much sleep is recommended for your child, and then with that recommendation, knowing when to start bedtime.
Okay, so you maybe have unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they're 4 months to 12 months, how much sleep do they need?
We're looking at between 12 to 16 hours, but this is including those daytime naps, which is the same for toddlers. More hours of sleep, but we're counting nap time too.
And frequently, if you're nursing, they're still up at night, even if you're not, I would imagine. So, so you can't just say it's only working if it's 8 hours in one stretch, for instance.
Yeah, those ones are going to be broken up a little bit more than when we get to preschoolers and grade schoolers.
Okay.
We're hoping that they're sleeping a more consistent chunk of time all through the night, and they're needing more hours than, let's say, teenagers who only need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And
I never got 8 to 10 hours of sleep when I was a teenager.
Never. Even the amount for the toddlers and the preschoolers, it just seems 13 hours of sleep. They're often so busy. How do you arrange that?
Well, that is one problem that we often hear from families is my kid doesn't slow down enough to go to sleep. They're moving so fast. So when we're looking at those bedtime routines, we're trying to incorporate as many calming strategies as we can to start preparing their body for bedtime.
So that would be like a bath, a story, what?
Yes, like a warm bath would be good. Some other strategies that we would use, like before bed, engaging in quiet play. So this is not the best time to be running around, playing football, roughhousing. This is more when we're looking at sitting down and doing a puzzle or coloring, and maybe even dimming the lights during that to start to prepare their body's internal clock for bedtime.
What do you mean by visual schedule?
So for kids, like we talked about that routine, but a visual schedule for an older kid might look like a list of what they're going to do. But for a younger kid, it might look like pictures. So maybe there's a picture of a bath and then pajamas and then brushing teeth so that they know what's coming next. And that when mom and dad say lights out, it's not some big surprise or fight that we have to go through.
It doesn't go from 100 miles per hour to boom, bedtime. It's 8 o'clock now. One of the things you listed here that I find interesting, I'm curious what you mean, a weighted blanket. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so weighted blankets are just blankets that have extra weight with them, whether that be beads or rice. And that helps to provide that deep pressure. Like Monica said, she would pat her daughter's back, and that deep pressure is calming for children. So giving them deep hugs before bed, or a back rub, or just tucking them in really tightly. And then the weighted blanket gives that same effect, where the parent doesn't have to do it.
Right. So bed on the floor or in the corner? Why?
So if you think about kids who are afraid of falling out of bed, or if maybe they're afraid something's underneath their bed, so on the floor that eliminates that problem. Or in the corner, it gives them that extra sense of security. They're kind of more surrounded. It makes them feel safer.
They're like little denning animals.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
One of the things that I recall so well is the words bedtime were almost used as a threat sometimes. So you get the child to bed, no matter whether a toddler or a high schooler, it's time for bed. What do you mean by a reward? How do you reward these people?
Another problem we see is the kids who won't stay in bed. they have to tell you one more thing, they have to go to the bathroom, they have to get a drink, just delaying that bedtime. So we would use a reward chart of some sort, like a sticker chart for every time they stay in bed through the night.
All right, all right, well, thank you very much. And we are out of time, but tell people where to find you.
You can call us at Red Door Pediatric Therapy at 701-222-3175.
I wish you'd been there when I was doing the nighttime padding. All right, we'll be
Thanks,
back
Erin.
to finish things out.